Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. We've got some great news and rumors for you today on the show. Before we jump into it, I want to make sure to tell you about our new platform, the Newsbreak app. Go ahead and download it. Go to chatsports.com/MichiganNB. NB stands for Newsbreak, their app. Our videos are now on Newsbreak, and we might start putting some exclusive videos there that won't go on YouTube. What you can do, get awesome content for your city, your zip code. If you live in Detroit, Ann Arbor, anywhere in Michigan, you tell them where you live, they're going to give you all the news from the favorite news sources around your area. Plus, go ahead and search Michigan Football. Our channel, the Michigan Football Report, should show up right at the top. You can press that button to follow. So go ahead and get the Newsbreak app, available for iPhone and Android. Just type in chatsports.com/MichiganNB in your browser. Make sure we get credit for sending you there, and make sure Newsbreak knows that you are a Michigan football fan. It's the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports coming up right now. All right, I am your host, as always, James Yoder on the Michigan Football Report. Got a Rumors 3-pack coming out of spring practice. You probably have seen plenty of reports about what others saw, but I'm going to give you my biggest takeaways. And it's all going to start with Michigan offensive coordinator Josh Gattis going into his third year as offensive coordinator. And people are talking, I might be the one talking, that he's on the hot seat. I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads, which means it is pretty likely that he is coming into this year in kind of a boom or bust situation. And from what I believe very strongly in my heart, this thing's going to get really ugly if Michigan's offense doesn't start off the year hot and continue to stay hot. So what are we talking about here with Josh Gattis? Their offense was brutal last year. Outside of that Minnesota game, the Michigan offense was absolutely disastrous in 2020, number 78 in the country, number 49 in 2019. But halfway through the year, 6-7 games into it, this Michigan offense, his first year, was in the 100s. It was like ranked 109 in the year. He has failed to develop a running game in his 2 seasons, and frankly, a passing game at all. And Michigan has brought in a co-offensive coordinator, Sharon Moore, tight ends coach, now offensive line coach, and co-offensive coordinator. Now, some people are going to say that's just a title thing to give him a little bit of bump and a pay raise so he doesn't go looking for an OC job elsewhere. But Michigan is 11-8 in 2 seasons with Josh Gattis as their offensive coordinator. And as far as I can tell, he has had 6, maybe 7 games out of 19 where you could call it a competent offensive game plan. We all saw the crazy plays they're rolling out last year, like Hassan Haskins in the red zone with that, what do we call it? It's the Wildcat offense and the pop pass. It was absolutely brutal, the offensive game plan last year. And then think about 2019, his first year. You had 4 offensive linemen coming back in 2019 that got drafted after that season. Shea Patterson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Nico Collins, Tariq Black, right? And they started off the year 40 points against Middle Tennessee State. Okay, cool. Needed to go to overtime to beat Army. 21 points in regulation in that game. Then 14 against Wisconsin. 0 in the first half, I believe. Maybe it was 7. You had a 10-pointer against Iowa later on that year. And then 28 points. And then this offense started to take off. We all know that Shea Patterson and the offense really started to click down the stretch. Notre Dame, Maryland, Michigan State, Indiana. But in general, Gattis has underperformed. His offense has underperformed in 60 to 70% of the games that he has been at Michigan as their offensive coordinator. So with Sharon Moore, with Michigan's new quarterbacks coach and running backs coach that I'll talk about in a show later on next week, I'm going to break down the coaching staff a little bit. I feel that if Michigan's offense, with a brand new quarterback, with a new potentially starting running back, depending on who you think was the starting running back last year, Chris Evans gone, Zach Charbonnet is transferring, I think there's a chance if this offense struggles with Cade McNamara, J.J. McCarthy, or maybe Alan Bowman, the Texas Tech transfer, that Gattis could be let go midseason. So I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads. That Josh Gattis is on the hottest of hot seats going into this season. If he makes it through the whole season, that's probably just because Jim Harbaugh, if they do bad and he makes it through the whole season, it probably just means that Jim Harbaugh has bigger things to worry about or is too nice to fire a guy midseason. But I want to ask you guys this question. What is your confidence level in Josh Gattis as Michigan's offensive coordinator? I want you to go around in the comment section. Just vote 1 through 10. How about that? 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. From what I've seen, it's like a 3.5, 4. And with what we've heard about the quarterbacks coming out of spring ball, Michigan's offense might be in for a world of trouble coming into year 3 with Gattis as the OC. So what is your confidence level? Go down in the comments. Let me know. I'll pin this comment right beneath the video. So vote 1 through 10. While you're scrolling down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We blew past 13,000 subscribers a couple weeks back. I'm gearing towards 20,000 by the time the season comes around. It's a big jump from 13,000 up to 20 by September. We've got 5 or so months till that happens, but I want to ask you guys, if you haven't watched the show before, we give you news. We talk about the rumors, and there is no sugarcoating. I'm going to talk about some big-time sugarcoating from the Michigan blog boys here in a few moments towards the end of the show. But we don't sugarcoat anything. We give you exactly what we think, and we always tell you what we believe to be the truthful take on Michigan football at that moment in time. Next up on the Michigan Football Report, Maize Pants. They're making a comeback on the road. I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads. I almost put this in the show last week, and then I heard they were going to go with Maize Pants to the spring game, so I didn't want to feel like I was, shooting from the hip and just grabbing things. But had a source say, hey, Maize Pants are coming back. Harbaugh's going to switch it up this year. So let's take a look at this uniform, the uniforms Michigan's rolled out under Harbaugh on the road. First up, it's the all-white. Michigan only had it in one season. I think it was 1974 when Harbaugh's dad was on the staff, and so when he came back in 2015, he wanted to, reach back in the past, pull it forward. I never liked the all-white uniforms. I think they're super boring, so that's the all-white. They did wear the Maize Pants one game. The Maize Pants they've worn for 140 years of Michigan football pretty much in every game. They wore them for one game, 2017 against Penn State on the road. Got absolutely blown out, so they didn't really bring much luck. But really, it doesn't matter what uniforms they've been wearing. Jim Harbaugh's teams have struggled on the road. If they're in white pants, wearing maize pants, they're wearing purple pants, whatever it is. But, little wrinkle to it, the spring game, you got some all maize uniforms that they wore against Florida in 2017 in the opener at Jerry World in Dallas. Or you've got the all blues that they wore in 2014 in a home game against Penn State. Those are the maize versus blue uniforms. Only worn those blue pants one time in program history, at least as far as I know. So they're rolling out some new options here. I think just from a swag perspective, I'm going to watch TV and that team looks cool and that team looks boring, you got to add some color. I don't like the Michigan all-white uniforms at all. So with them rolling out the all-maize and bringing back the old blue that have normal-looking numbers, not like the weird ones that the Devin Gardner team wore in 2014 with like the striped numbers, I think that Michigan's going to bring back maize pants on the road. Maybe you see an all-maize uniform at home. Maybe you see an all-blue uniform at some point at home, but we will see. But I'm going to ask you guys this question. Go down in the comments and just type a single letter. Which are the better pants for Michigan's road uniforms? If you like the whites, type W. If you like maize pants like I do, go ahead and type M. You'll see me comment down there. I'll ask the question in the comments. So scroll down to it and just reply to the question there. See what other Michigan Wolverines fans think and let me know your opinion. But put me down as Team Maize. And we told you about it. This is the top of the show. Go ahead and download the Newsbreak app. It's chatsports.com/MichiganNB. Type it into your browser on your iPhone, on your Android. You're going to get local news and weather. No matter what your zip code is, you're living in the big city, you're living out in the country, any zip code you have, local news and weather, politics, if you want to avoid it or not, whatever, pop culture, food reviews, and restaurants, and awesome sports content, not just from us here at Chat Sports, all the local websites, blogs, newspapers that cover the teams you love, whether it's Michigan, whether it's the Lions, any team that you cover, you can get it on Newsbreak. You see what it looks like for the city of Detroit there. Make sure you get the Newsbreak app. I love it. It's become my go-to app for getting all my news. Chatsports.com/MichiganNB. Search Michigan football. You're going to see us right at the top. Hit follow. You will get all of our videos in that app. I'm going to put the link down in the comment section as well. So go ahead and download it. Chatsports.com/MichiganNB. All right. It is losing our mind season from the blog boys. Who are the blog boys? If you haven't seen the show before, it's the local bloggers and the newspaper guys and the $10 a month pay sake guys who are not news finders anymore or journalists. They are an extension of the media relations team at Michigan. All they do is put out positive things, and it was kind of quiet all spring, but we're back to silly season. Blake Corum, Michigan sophomore running back, the next JK Dobbins, starting running back for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give this one Harbaugh head. I should give it fake news. I'm going to give it one Harbaugh head because I've seen some good stuff out of Blake Corum. But what are we getting from Corum? Who put this out there, by the way? Rivals.com on their Michigan site, TheWolverine. They said that, hey, Blake Corum reminds us a lot. Their source tells me reminds a lot of JK Dobbins. Let's take a look at the Dobbins, though. 43 touchdowns in his 3 seasons at Ohio State, number 6 in the Heisman Trophy in 2019, starting running back as a rookie in the NFL. Blake Corum, he looked electric on a couple plays, 77 yards rushing in 6 games last year, 2 touchdowns. So what are we doing here? I mean, let's just take a look at their freshman seasons, 2017 for Dobbins, 2020 for Corum. I mean, why do we do this to these kids, right? Last year, it was sloppy Sam Webb making Aiden Hutchinson's dad say, oh, Aiden's the next Bosa brother. Then it was all the blog boys saying, woo, baby, Joe Milton, Cam Newton 2.0, Heisman or bust for him. And now it's Blake Corum is the next JK Dobbins, one of the 5 best running backs in the last 30 years in the Big Ten, okay? The guy had a 1,000-yard season followed by, I looked up his stats here, 1,000 yards as a true freshman, or 1,400 yards as a true freshman, 1,000 yards as a sophomore, and then 2,000 yards rushing as a true junior, number 6 in the Heisman. So I'm sick of these comparisons. They also called, by the way, Mike Morris, one of Michigan's third-year linebackers, the Chase Young of this Michigan football team. Has the Chase Young look. He's muscular. Okay, cool. You got biceps, you're Chase Young all of a sudden. But I am in the prove-it zone. What I mean by that prove-it zone, I've washed my hands of the hype. No matter how many times I've tried to convince myself over the past decade or more, you know, Brady Hoke starts out good. Oh, baby, Rich Rod, that spread offense is coming to town. Jim Harbaugh, Super Bowl. Michigan football is going to the Super Bowl like Harbaugh took the 49ers. I always fall back into the hype preseason. Michigan beats Minnesota early 2020. Oh, baby. Heisman, right? Heisman for Milton. This team's going all the way, and we see what happens. But I'm no longer going to do that. I'm going in every game this year expecting them to do their best to compete, but not expecting any results other than what we saw on the field in 2020. Here's the quote from Rivals.com's Michigan website, TheWolverine.com. Corum reminds you of JK Dobbins with his low center of gravity, and he runs so hard. He was a little more patient, say. Okay, I mean, you could literally say that about any short and stocky running back in history, but the fact that you've got to pull out Ohio State's generational talent running back from just a couple years ago that's doing phenomenally well in the NFL, I think there's a disservice to Blake Corum. Because anytime somebody talks about Corum, if this quote gets out enough, people are like, I thought you said he was J.K. Dobbins, just like he did to Joe Milton last year. You're putting unrealistic expectations, comparing him to their direct rivals in Ohio State and guys who are superstars, right? Let's let Blake Corum get 100 yards rushing in a season before we start comparing him to anybody. But that is my take on that. But I'll ask you guys this question. You see a lot of rainbows and sunshine coming out from the blog boys, Michigan media. Do you trust practice reports anymore, right? The practice report's going to tell you that, man, this team has got great chemistry. And the guys who underperformed last year, they're turning around. And, man, some of those young defensive linemen, we forgot about Kwity Paye. These guys are getting after the ball. They call them the Reapers, apparently, right? And I don't anymore. So go ahead down in the comments, type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to know from you guys, do you trust the practice reports that you're getting from the Michigan football blog boys?